starting our Romanian for expats new classes. Please like and follow our page and share the lesson if possible. Enjoy. Okay, please let me share my screen so we can see the lesson together. All right. So today's lesson is mainly focused on the phonetical aspects of the Romanian language. We are going to go through the Romanian alphabet and see the specific letters and how they are pronounced and in what context. And we are also going to pronounce some easier words. Then we are going to go through some greetings, and we are going to look over some groups of letters that are specific to Romanian and that are pronounced a little bit differently. So Romanian as a language is not difficult, I would say, especially when it comes to the phonetical aspects, because it is written as it is spoken, with some few exceptions that we are going to look at today together. All right then, so let's see. We have the first letter here, letter A, which is pronounced as in about. We have here an example in Romanian, călătorie, călătorie. The next letter, which is specific to Romanian, is the letter U. And we have two variants of the same letter. It is the same sound. It is just written differently. And the only difference between them is their placement inside the word. So the first one, this one, is always placed inside the word, as we have here with the word român. And the other one, this one, is located at the beginning or at the end of the word and never inside. So that is how you can tell the difference between them, and that is how you know which and when to use. All right. The next letter is sh, which has a small comma underneath, and it is pronounced as in the word sharp. We have here a word in Romanian, școală, școală. And the last letter that is specific to Romanian is the letter ț, as in cats. And we have here a word, țară, țară. I will also mention a few other letters which are pronounced slightly different in Romanian as compared to English. The first one is the letter X, which can have two different pronunciations. It can be either X, as in pix, pix, or it can be gz, as in the word examen, examen. The most common one is the first one, as in the word pix, but there are a few words that require this pronunciation of the letter. Another letter would be the letter U, as in rule or wood. So it is always pronounced as a long U, as in ușă. Another letter would be the letter O, which is always pronounced as in the word order. And we have here an example, oraș. And the letter J, which is pronounced as in pleasure. So we have joi. That would be it. The rest of the words are pronounced the same as in English. Oh, another mention would be the letter E, which is always pronounced as in the word send. So we have elev right here. All right. So would anyone like to try and read the words in Romanian that are right here? If not, then I will pronounce them for you. So we have avion, călătorie, român, bagaj, carte, drum, elev, fată, gară, haină, Italia, începător, a hotărâ, joi, kilogram, luni, marți, noi, oraș, profesor, România, soră, școală, tânăr, țară, ușă, vacanță, pix, examen, zebră. All right, let's move on and we will see some other words which I'm going to pronounce for you so you can see and try to pronounce them on your own if you'd like to get used to the language. So we have familie, again, oraș, copil, apartament, cameră de zi, sufragerie, bucătărie, dormitor, în față, față, holul, mâine, pâine, la etaj, tastatură. All right. Now let's see some greetings in Romanian because it is important that every time we learn a new language, the first thing that we learn are some greetings because it is a perfect way to get in touch with the locals or get in touch with the language and see how it functions. So let's look at some greetings. We have salut or bună for hello. For good morning, we can say bună dimineața. For good afternoon, we say bună ziua. For good evening, we say bună seara. Good day, o zi bună. See you later, ne vedem mai târziu. See you tomorrow, ne vedem mâine. Good night, noapte bună. Nice to see you, mă bucur să te văd. Nice to meet you, încântat de cunoștință. Hello everyone, salutare tuturor. And lastly, how are you feeling? Cum te simți? Of course, there are a lot more other ways to greet people in Romanian, but these are just a few so you can just have a taste of the language. Now, I would like us to look at some groups of letters that are pronounced as a unitary sound, and these are specific to the language. So we have the groups ce, ci, ge, gi, ke, ki, ge, gi. And let's see some equivalents in English. For the che, chi sounds, we have the words chart and much. For the j, g sounds, we have the words germ and edge. And let's look at some examples. We have ce, aceasta, pace, cine, acid, gin, agitat. One thing to mention about the Romanian language is that there are many words that are similar to those in English. So from this point of view, it is very easy to acquire vocabulary. We just have to pay attention to the pronunciation. As we can see in this case, we have acid in English, but in Romanian it is pronounced acid. Whereas for the word gin, of course, it is the same pronunciation. There are other examples. If we look at the word peace, it is very similar to the one in Romanian, pace. So seeing this, we can tell that it is very easy to memorize parts of the vocabulary in Romanian, which means that it is progress can be achieved much faster from this point of view, which can give you a lot of satisfaction as a beginner and as a person who is trying to learn a new language, because one of the most difficult parts is trying to memorize the new words or trying to create correlations in your mind so as to not confuse, to try to not mix things up, and try to have everything in your mind as clear as possible. All right, let's move on. We have the ke, ki sound, as in the words chemistry and keen. And lastly, ge, gi, the ge, gi sounds, as in the words together and geek. Let's look at some examples. We have the word kenar, kenar, pachet, pachet, kin, kin, rechin, rechin, a ochi, and gete, gete. These, I would say, would pose some difficulty, especially in the beginning, until you recognize these groups of sounds inside the word, and you start to read them quite naturally, because at first it's very easy to mix up the pronunciation or not recognize these groups of sounds. That is why it is very important to practice your pronunciation of these groups of sounds in the beginning. All right, let's move on. I've prepared for you a text. We are not interested in the meaning of the text. The purpose is to practice your pronunciation and to see the different types of context that each letter can be found in. So I will start reading the text for you. You have here the translation in English if you want to look at the meaning of the text. Let's begin. Funcționarul. Ce doriți, vă rog? Jane. Vreau să ajung în centru la hotelul Hilton. Cât e de departe și cum pot să ajung acolo? Funcționarul. Puteți să luați un autobuz, dar mai bine un taxi de afară, de lângă intrare. Jane. Și cam cât costă o călătorie cu taxiul? Funcționarul. Depinde de distanță. Jane. Trebuie să ajung și în Piața Romană. Funcționarul. Unde anume în Piața Romană? Jane. La British Council, la bibliotecă. Funcționarul. Azi este închis. E sâmbătă. Jane. Și când e deschisă biblioteca? Funcționarul. Luni. So we can see in this text the diacritical marks, the diacritical letters that are specific to the language. We can see the groups of sounds and how they are pronounced. I invite all of you to try and read the text. You can pause the video if you'd like, and then you can check your pronunciation by listening to my reading. All right. And then we have a second text. Again, you have the translation over here if you're interested in the meaning, but the reason why I chose and I inserted this text here in this lesson is because I wanted you to practice your reading. Let's begin. Ioana. În sfârșit, pozele de la nuntă. Helen. Hai să vedem. Cine e aici? Andrei. Părinții mei. În stânga lor e fratele meu cu soția lui Mariana. La dreapta lor sunt colegii mei de la serviciu. Helen. Și doamna asta elegantă? Ioana. Mama mea. Rochia ei a costat o avere. Helen. Se vede. Și cine sunt cei doi bărbați de lângă ea? Ioana. Mama e divorțată și el e tatăl meu, iar celălalt e soțul ei actual, tatăl meu vitreg. Helen. Și lângă voi, Andrei, bunicii, părinții mamei mele și unchiul meu Vasile. So in this text, you can notice many words which have the groups of sounds that I just mentioned before. So as we can see in this word, for example, rochia or unchiul. Or in this case, serviciu, aici. These are some of the words and the pronunciation that need more practice, especially from a beginner, in order to get used to the way that Romanian sounds. All right. And here I've prepared for you a fun activity. I'm going to pronounce these words in Romanian twice, and I would like you to guess, or maybe we should say follow your intuition and see how you would spell the word. You can just, if you follow the lesson, by the end of it, you should be able to at least be able to spell out these words. And you can, we will give you the answers later, a bit later, and I invite you to drop your answers in the comment section. Let's begin. The first one, home. Acasă. Acasă. The second one, beauty. Frumusețe. Frumusețe. The third one, happiness. Fericire. Fericire. The next one, street. Stradă. Stradă. The next one, tree. Copac. Copac. And the last one, thank you. Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc. Thank you very much for being here with us today. Mulțumesc. I really hope that you enjoyed the lesson. I hope that you've learned something useful and that you will start learning Romanian soon with us. I expect to hear from you soon. Please leave your answers in the comment section and have a great day. Goodbye.